And welcome back to Shotgun Reviews.
Well now, that wasn't so painful now, was it?
Not as painful as that accent.
Yeah.
Okay. So, as you might have guessed, we just came back from The Longest Ride.
Yes.
And
that marks the 10th adaptation of a Nicholas Sparks novel. So
let's get right in. Let's get right into this thing. What was your favorite? What was your favorite part?
Well, okay, I gotta get out of the accent.
Yes, please.
Well, so, the film is about a guy who, does bull riding for a living. And,
Hence the title.
yeah, The Longest Ride, although, The Longest Ride has a kind of different meaning. Yeah, notice? I mean, that's... Okay. Well, so he meets a girl, of course, who is like an artist, and it starts out rather formulaic. She's like a city girl, and she's like and out of like many girls in her college, she's probably the least girly of them. But
that depends on your definition of girly.
Yeah. But wouldn't you know it, she falls for the guy, even though everyone would consider her to be the last person to do so. And they meet this guy who was in a car accident, a 91-year-old, who gives them all inspiration through these memories that come back to him of his wife when they were younger, back in the 1940s. And probably the best thing about the movie for me was just the way that the way his story impacts theirs. And I mean, I get that there are parts about it that are formulaic, but the thing that I always consider first when going into a romance is, do the characters work, and is their chemistry believable? And I think yes here. I do think that Nicholas Sparks does have an idea of how relationships work, and the chemistry with his characters always ignites a lot of sparks.
I should punch you. But you're getting away.
Come on, that was good.
No, it wasn't.
Alright, well...
You get a pass on this time you get a pass.
Okay,
so, my favorite part about the movie was, Ira.
Yeah.
Or at least the actor.
Yeah, he was very good. In fact, I'd say all the acting is pretty excellent.
It's believable. That's for sure.
I mean, both of the two young actors are very good. Scott Eastwood, that's Clint Eastwood's son.
Well, that explains a lot.
Yeah, and then Britt Robertson is Sofia, and she's also going to be the star of the upcoming Tomorrowland. They're all very convincing.
So, okay, worst part.
Worst part, it's a little hard to say. There's probably just that the sex scene between the two felt really forced. I mean, other than that, I thought the romance was very believable, even if it does take place in a short amount of time. But, I mean, it's a while before they have their first, make-out session. And, they do discuss what they're doing, they discuss their problems, and so that's the first thing I look for in a romance is, well, the romance. And so when that's believable, I'm I'm able to overlook formula and say, okay, what do you want to say through all this? And so out of all the 10 Nicholas Sparks adaptations, I'd say this is in the better half of them. I don't know if I'd quite say that I'm a diehard fan of his, but I know I kind of sound like I am, but I don't know. There are times when especially the two weakest, Knights in Raw Denti and Message in a Bottle, there seems to be a death scene tacked on at the end that doesn't serve any purpose. And this is actually one of the few that has a happy ending.
So
that I thought was kind of a turnaround formula for Sparks.
For me, it was the pacing. The pacing kind of dragged on in some parts.
I don't know. I thought there was, to be honest, I thought it was perfectly paced. I mean, it had to tell two stories, and I knew it'd be long, and I think it spent just the right amount of time in both. Okay, well
that's just me.
Yeah.
Anything you want to comment on?
Well, I guess I might point out one line of dialogue where I was kind of like, I tried to, brush it off, and it was probably, the one line that kind of, made me groan inside. It's after they take the guy to the hospital, and, Luke tells, I'm trying to remember it, but okay, well, maybe it's not that bad if I can't quite remember it. It's just, Right, so, Luke tells Sofia that, she saved him. She was like, all I did was hold the light, and you were amazing. Really, that's the place to, insert that comment? Alright, well.
One of the things I have to say is that, a lot of what I was always expect during the love story between Ira and Ruth. I was expecting to go that totally different way.
Really?
Yeah.
How so?
I always thought it would be they were going to be conquered by their negative emotions. You know?
Yeah, I kind of wondered that myself.
Were they going to end up shouting at each other? You know?
Yeah.
But I'm glad to say that didn't happen.
Yeah.
I was very glad.
Yeah. You know, I do have to say, when going into this movie, I wondered if it was going to turn out differently for the younger couple as well. I wondered if they were going to come to realize, okay, we're maybe not the best for each other because we do different things. I can understand. It works in this case because he's a bull rider, and that's really dangerous. He almost kills himself twice. And,
oh, yeah.
Although, if it was something lighter than that, then, it would have been an ample opportunity to use John Denver's song, I'd Rather Be a Cowboy.
I've never heard that song.
Yeah. Okay, well, still, I like how it turned out at the end,
yeah, it was a really good ending.
Yeah.
A little sad, but
yeah, a little sad, but pretty mildly sad for a Sparks drama. But
this is my first Nicholas Sparks adaptation.
Yeah.
So I really don't know the standard.
Okay, well, he often does have characters who are much different. That's probably about half the time that's the case. I mean, like The Notebook, it's between a rich girl and a poor boy. That's like the movie that perfected that concept, and then it's been like the most
I don't know.
overused scenario in romantic movies.
Oh, that's true.
Case in point, the Endless Love remake. God bless that little train wreck.
I have no idea what he's talking about.
Check it out. It's good if you want an unintentional laugh.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so and there's always scenes with characters reading or writing letters.
Yeah, but that's not really much of a theme. I mean, there are a lot of movies with that.
Yeah, and it almost always takes place in a beach town. That's not the case here.
Mm-mm.
That's
North Carolina.
That's like a John Woo movie
Or is
without
it
dubs.
Damn. Yeah, that you don't see very often.
Yeah, and it's North Carolina. That was it's an oceanside state. So, all right.
Oh. So grading?
I don't know if I'm actually not there yet. I did want to, for the most part, the sound mixing in the film is actually really good, like during the war scenes and the bull riding scenes. That is except for one scene in the 40s in a diner or something, and Ira and Luke are talking to each other, and pretty quietly talking to each other, and everything around them is just silent. You see people just a few feet away talking to each other, and there's no sound from that at all. It's well.
I've got nothing left to say. So
Okay, so I mean it's well shot. I mean the shots are lit and framed fine, and I'm not gonna lie, there were a few moments that did kind of hit me here.
Yeah,
and
that.
And yeah, I might I wouldn't mind watching it again. So it may be somewhat generic, but it is still enjoyable to see these two stories unfold. And so right now, I'd say it's probably the best date movie you could see.
I'd go with that.
Or maybe
I'd go with that.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely something you could take someone to.
Yeah.
Like, and not feel told. Like, with what I found with romantic movies, especially romantic comedies, is that it's sort of like the Nostalgia Critic's problem with The Liar Revealed.
Yeah.
That it's so, like, if you watch a romantic comedy, you know they're going to get together, and it gets old.
Yeah.
But not.
Especially after the third act misunderstanding.
Oh, God.
That kind of thing drives me nuts, especially when it's the most poor reason for it.
Thankfully, none of that is here.
Yeah, it's actually, yeah, there's actually...
The arguments that, both couples go through seem very legitimate.
Yes. Yeah, I'd say that too, yeah. You know, it's
their reactions seem very legitimate.
Yeah.
And I was glad from that standpoint.
Okay. You know, it's funny,
and
I was expecting you to... Well, I didn't quite know what to expect from this movie.
I didn't know.
But I was still kind of expecting you to be suffering, even if I was enjoying it. In fact, the part where Ira is leaving for the war and Ruth tells him, "Promise me you'll come back," and he's like, "Yeah, I promise." I was just referencing a running joke from CinemaSins when they just note unkeepable promises, and then you elbowed me, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I guess he might be getting invested. All right, I won't make any more smart aleck comments."
That's not what. That was something that was real.
Yeah.
They would. There's something to drive real soldiers.
Yeah.
And okay.
Although something else I might kind of note, Ira and Ruth are supposed to be Jews, I think, right?
Yeah, Jewish.
Yeah. And they also have, it's implied, I think they also have premarital sex. That kind of behavior would have been considered really scandalous back then for Jews. And I was actually expecting it to go into more into like the Holocaust with this film. I mean, it's
Really?
1940s, and these people are Jews.
It's referenced, but that's not the main part of the movie.
Yeah, I didn't say it was. I just said that I thought it was going to be.
It is briefly,
Yeah.
not referred to.
Yeah, it's just glanced over.
Yeah, which I'm very grateful for.
Yeah.
So you first. What do you give this film?
Well, let me just say I've been kind of waiting for the Sparks film that would be somewhere along the lines of somewhere way up there with The Notebook and Dear John, which are my two favorites. This isn't quite up there, but it comes pretty close. I think it's better than The Best of Me, which was the last one. For everything I really liked about The Best of Me, there was something that I really disliked about it, and so it's probably one of the movies where I've been the most split down the middle about it.
Are you talking about this film?
No, Best of Me.
Oh. Why are you talking about The Best of Me?
Yeah, I'm just doing comparison.
Oh.
And I think it's very good. I give it a B+.
For me, I did not know coming into this film. I had no idea what to expect, and for what I got, it was a decent flick. It's not something I'm that into. So, story was good.
Yeah.
Characters were good.
Yeah.
And and the music was fine.
Yeah.
And I would give this film a solid B.
All right. Yeah.
So
I did also something I am kind of questioning. What exactly was up with a few of those letters? I mean, some of them I think were written. I mean, like the one that was written on the day that Ira meets Ruth. Was that supposed to be like his journal or something?
that did seem actually.
Well,
That's a good point.
To each his own. But
Yeah, true.
And when Sofia reads it out loud, she reads April 10th, 1940, 75 years ago today. Which begs the question: the guy I read on the back of the book that the guy's 91 years old. Does that mean that he's 16 at the time that the story begins?
Different time, different place?
Although, I think it's said in the movie that it's supposed to be 2007, which would make him 24 at the beginning. That makes more sense. The guy doesn't look 16 at all.
No, he's too old.
Yeah.
So, trailers. Okay. We saw some good ones.
Yeah. There were three in particular I definitely put in my mind to remember. The first one was one that we missed before Furious 7, and that was The Gift.
Oh, God. That looks creepy.
Yeah, kinda. Although I have no idea what's going on. Something about bygones be bygones.
One of the things
is it a ghost movie?
There are two things playing for... No, it's not. It's sort of that sins catching up with someone. Like the sins of your past catching up with you. And
it's
a
supernatural force that appears.
It's a stalker.
Yeah, I was starting to think it was a stalker film.
Which, unlike most horror movies that have some sort of supernatural thing going on, this is very realistic and it can be very personal.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going to work in this film's favor. I think another trailer was the new Mission Impossible.
Rogue Nation.
First of all, I can't believe they're still going on with that franchise, but...
I can.
Yeah,
I mean, why not? I mean...
Yeah, sure. Yeah. That's right.
I mean, just about every franchise is being brought back this year.
That's true.
Terminator, Jurassic Park, Star Wars, and of course, as I just found out 2 days ago...
This is like the season 6 of
I'm so excited about this. My childhood is coming back at the end of this year. We're getting another Land Before Time movie. That's my favorite animated series. I've loved it as far back as I can remember. And, yeah, we're getting yet another at the end of this year.
Nah.
Yeah. I have thoughts on what I know about the next movie so far. Under my channel, check that out if you're interested, if you're a Land Before Time diehard like I am.
And the final trailer, the newest one, was the Poltergeist.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
that wasn't
God.
the one that I had in mind, but yeah, I think
Really?
I think
what was that one?
I think the Poltergeist trailer was kind of new. There were a lot of scenes that I had seen in the other trailer. I mean, with the clown's red nose stringing up and then he springs out at the kid.
He's about as scary as Chucky.
Yeah.
And it means none at all. So
the other one that I had in mind was Paper Towns.
Oh, that's right.
A movie from the author of Fault in Our Stars.
And that actually looks pretty good.
Yeah, kind of. The two main things that are attracting me to it are the fact that it's from the guy who wrote Fault in Our Stars, and
which I haven't seen.
And it looks like it's a road trip movie, and I like road trip movies.
Oh yeah, they're good.
Yeah. I still want to see About Schmidt. About Schmidt, I think, is a road trip movie from Alexander Payne. Alexander Payne does a lot of road trip movies, like Descendants and Nebraska. So yeah, Paper Towns comes out on July 24th, the same day as two other movies that start with a P. And so, the event, I'm thinking of calling the event Pans, Pixels, and Paper Towns. The other two, of course, being Pan and Pixels. So yeah, so that'll be during the summer, so I'll start definitely earlier in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 films in one day. I'm sure not everyone will be able to come to all 3. If you only want to come to one, that's fine.
Okay.
I think that's all the trailers we had.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we had more, but they were ones that we've already noted in previous Shotgun reviews. There was one other piece of trivia I wanted to give for this movie. It's that... Okay, the battery's low. I better hurry. Okay, so it's that the director of this movie is George Tillman Jr. He's a black director. He directed Men of Honor. The reason he wanted to do this movie was because he wanted to show that black directors don't always have to direct black films. So he's doing one about white people, about American sweethearts.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at a lot of other black directors, they don't have a lot of things other than movies about African American past. Not that I'm being racist at all. I mean, I'm sure that those kinds of movies, at least those kinds of stories would mean a lot to other African American people. But yeah, I just wanted to get that out there.
Okay.
So,
then.
yeah, so this is our last shotgun review for tonight. We'll be back next week with Unfriended.